Welcome to this week's Wellness Wednesday. I am so excited today to have Amanda on the call with us, and she's going to be sharing with us her health journey, how she used to be a wheezy, sneezy, wonderful person, and now she's just a healthy, wonderful person. So she had a lot of fun with allergies, and so I just would love for her to share her story with us. And we want to do this because we want to offer some helpful tips and some hope to people who think that they have to live with their allergies and they think it's a normal thing to go through. Yeah. Amanda, could you first, before we get started, would you mind sharing with us just what was your life like before you started getting healthy?
Right. Well, in regards to allergies, I got them in my, I think it was early 20s. I suddenly developed them. So it was later on in life. Well, not super late, but anyway. And so I developed allergies, and it seemed to be the primary thing that seemed to kind of set me off was dust, which is always everywhere. So my allergies were year round. Like I fought with them all the time. And I mean, allergy season, it would kind of just ramp up a bit more, but it was something I dealt with all the time. So after, a while of it driving me batty, I went to go see my doctor, and I started on a nasal spray. I think it was a basic nasal spray, and used that for a long time, and it worked. But then after a while, it stopped working, and I had to go to a stronger dosage. And so I was using like a steroid nasal spray, and I was probably on that for, I'm thinking at least 12, 15 years, where I was using that spray every single day. I had to go off of it when I was pregnant, so it stopped then, and then I was just a hot mess. And there was times where I'm like, I don't want to be on a nasal spray my whole life, so I'm just going to take over-the-counter stuff, but it never really seemed to work as well. And so, so I just nasal spray for the rest of my life is kind of what I thought it was going to be. So, yeah.
Okay. And so how did things start shifting for you? How did things start shifting for you? So like you just figured, okay, this is what it is. So were you looking for options to get off of all these medications and to help yourself naturally, or did this just kind of happen by accident?
It was a little bit by accident. So Tasha Starr is a really good friend of mine, and we've known each other for many years. And so I knew she did Shaklee. I was in another MLM company, and so I had no thought of ever joining Shaklee. But I had talked to her about some other health concerns I had, and she knew that the Shaklee products could really help. But we had this tricky relationship where it's like we weren't going to recruit each other because we kind of each had our own thing, right? So, but she eventually, the opportunity came up for her to approach me about it. And so I actually initially started with the products to address some of my other health concerns. And the allergies was kind of like a byproduct. It was like a surprise, and it was amazing. It was the most wonderful surprise ever. Yeah.
So what was it that you started using? And actually, let's just start there. What was it that you started using that really started changing things around for you?
Right. I started with, I was on the Life strip, the Vitalizer strip and the shake. So I was doing the strip and shake every day. And then I added the Spheron, and I added Alfalfa. I think those were kind of I think it was, that combination, which really I think was what did it. And I was able, actually, I decided I was just going to go cold turkey and see what happened. Because typically you would think it would take a while to kind of transition, but I stopped my nasal spray and started the Shaklee stuff, and I never had any issues, and it just got better. Like even with the nasal spray, I was often congested. And I mean, Tasha says she knows, like she remembers me as the like sneezing, wheezy kind of person, always sniffling and blowing my nose, right? So, yeah.
Okay, so that is actually really exciting. So now, did you have any concerns? Like when you started using the products, did you have doubts thinking, oh, this won't be any different?
Right.
What were your concerns?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the company I was with had a pretty good ingredient policy. The products were different. Like they had some of the same products, but not a lot of them. And so I think it took me a little while to really understand what made Shaklee different. And so, yeah, so I was hesitant because I'm like, well, what difference does it make, right? Like if I'm using good products here, why, like there was some of that. And then two, to jump back into something, right? Again, was kind of scary for me too, because it was like, okay, I already tried this once and I was very successful at it, but then life hit me and I had babies and postpartum depression. And so that kind of got put on a shelf, right? And so, yeah, so I was terrified, to be honest, to jump into something new and then, and to switch up my products because I really liked the other ones, right? Like they were, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad you did it anyways. I'm glad you were
Yeah.
open-minded enough to give it the chance, because I know, I mean, for myself, and so many people prior to using this brand, their story is, well, but I'm using something, why would this be different?
Right. Yeah.
But you have to try it, and just
Yeah.
the results are different. So
they really are.
So
Yeah.
besides just the allergies and no longer being the sneezy wheezy Amanda, what other health changes did you notice? Do you care to share anything more with us about that?
Yeah, well, so at the time I was also struggling with high cholesterol levels and high triglycerides. So that was kind of that. And then the depression were kind of the big things that I was hoping to address with like when Tasha and I first talked about it. And I was able to completely get my triglycerides in a good place, and my cholesterol was coming down. And yeah, it's been a bit more of a process with the cholesterol. It takes a bit more time, it seems, but but it's steadily going down. And yeah, and then I think depression is a bit of a weird one because it ebb and flows, and some things like COVID can really mess with you. So there's that. But I think too, even just starting the business was a huge part of what really helped me, was because I finally had something that was my own. And then of course too, just using all the really, like, adding the B complex and the stress relief, those kinds of things too, really helped in those moments. So yeah, so it was just a whole life pattern shift for me. Like it was just changing my eating as well too, right? And then just just all of that. So I mean, I lost a bunch of weight when I started, and yeah, it was just all very good.
So I love how you're saying all of that. So people who are listening who have allergy issues and they just want to take one thing that's going to help for their allergies. What I want to hear from you, what you're saying, is that it's not just, here's a pill to fix that symptom. Shaklee doesn't work that way. Shaklee works at the foundation of health, building health, and then the symptoms go away. We don't chase symptoms, we build health.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is, I started taking these things and all of a sudden here, this got better and that got better and my weight shifted. And so, and then not only that, you got your health back, and then you found your purpose and your lifestyle changed. So it's not, it really is. So I just say to people, be careful, because you might just think you're going to take an alfalfa, but it could change everything about your life. So,
Exactly.
So that's great. So now you've been on the program for a while. I mean, you kind of changed already that, or you shared already how a lot of other things changed in your life and your health.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we really normalize our symptoms and we just say, okay, this is the way we always feel, and we just accept it. Or we say it's normal to have headaches or, hot flashes, any of those things.
Yeah.
But if someone were to ask you, was it worth it for you to invest in your health, and they're kind of sitting on the fence, what would you say to them?
Yes. 100% yes. Yeah. It was so interesting because after I started all of it, it was like I felt like a whole new person. Like you mentioned headaches, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I had less headaches, right? Like there was just so many things that I didn't even realize, right? Because like you said, you normalize it. Sarah, can you close that door, please? Sorry, to eliminate the background noise. yeah, there were so many things that, like you said, we normalized, right? Like I always got headaches. That was just how it was, right? And suddenly I'm like, oh wait, I haven't had a headache in a really long time. And so I felt like a completely different person. Like it was just a complete, I don't know. I was just like, I felt like the healthiest I'd been in a very, very long time. So it was
Okay.
very, very cool.
And that right there, that's the side benefits of stripping and shaking every morning.
Right?
So,
Yeah, exactly.
yes,
And it's such a
consistently, but
simple thing, right?
consistently.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's such a simple thing, but and yeah, like just thinking of another story in related to the allergies, like it was in normalizing it, right? It was funny because I've gone back and watched the mold family videos that we've done. And I also realized that every time I'm on there, you can hear me sniffling in the background. Like I'm constantly like, and I sound congested all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never realized that that's how I always was, right? Like it was just this normal sound in the background. It was me sniffling and like sounding congested. And so it's cool to suddenly see that and be like, oh yeah, this is very like, it's been a
Yes.
life-changing thing. So yeah, very, very cool.
Amanda, that was great sharing. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. I would love to actually just transition a little bit here, and later on we can maybe chat a little bit more with Amanda if people have questions, but I would like to just shift here and just share my screen and share a little bit more about the things that Amanda was talking about, and just a few extra little tips that will help us with creating more health in our system and just getting rid of the allergy symptoms. So one of the first things that we always mention is diet. So if you're constantly challenging your body with foods that are going to create more mucus, you are going to have more congestion. So I remember years ago, it was a naturopath, and he just said to me, in the months that have an R in it, don't have any wheat or dairy. So, I mean, for me, that actually means I can't have it at any time because my body does react to it. But so he just really said, when you have a lot of wheat and dairy, it's going to form more mucus in your system. And so here's this quick little chart that shows the foods that will help to cut the mucus in your body. And there's other foods that are going to be creating more mucus. The interesting thing is that if you look at those charts, then also you see that these are more of the processed things. Now you do see soy down there, and soy, when it's genetically modified and not properly processed, that's when it's going to cause the issues. But we'll talk about the proper way that it's done later on. And so one of my favorite things to have people drink every morning is a hot lemon drink. And this one really does help to just clear congestion. So if you take the juice of a fresh squeezed lemon, half of a lemon, 1 tablespoon of honey, you can add hot water to that and just drink that. We call it a hot lemon. Or you can add to it an ounce of apple cider vinegar and a pinch of cayenne pepper, and again, the hot water. And so all of that together makes a really great way to start your morning. And it helps for digestion, it helps for your allergies. If you read about what's the benefits of drinking fresh lemon juice, I'm not sure if all of those things that they claim can be actually backed up. So I didn't want to share what all the claims are about it, but there are a lot of health benefits to drinking this every morning. So that's a really great way to start your day. Now, this is an older picture, but I wanted to share this because this is my husband's story. This is quite a few years ago, and he always had really bad allergies, and he was an absolute bear. And he was the kind of guy that was like, oh, nothing you give me would ever help. And so it takes a long time for him to see the light at the end of the tunnel, like for him to see like, honey, here's the beacon of light. Please just trust me, try this. He was such a bear that I actually bought him Reactant. I said, at least take this then. And he took it and he felt horrible. And he said, okay, this isn't working. I'll take whatever you give me. So I gave him a handful of alfalfa, some interferon, and garlic. And the next day he came back and said, please give me more. And, and he was just cleared right up. And now the funny thing is, because when he feels better, he thinks, okay, I'm done with it. No, I don't need it anymore. But his allergies have never come back as bad as they were. And whenever he starts feeling a bit stuffed, I give him a few days worth of things and it's cleared up again. So it really does help a lot. Now, here's one of my favorite pictures, and this is a guy, again, Alfalfa and Spheron came to the rescue for him, and he loved doing his yard work. His name is Nathan, and he loved being outside, but his wife felt really bad for him because he just could not do the yard work. He would be out for a little bit, and he was just stuffed right up. And so she gave him Alfalfa and Spheron, and that's his happy face because he was actually able to do the yard work. So now I'm just going to give you a bit of information about the Alfalfa. This is a really neat product because it is good for so many different things. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It helps the body calm down and become more alkaline. It's a digestive aid. It's full of enzymes. So how it's processed, it is beyond organic. So they test it to make sure there's no fungicides, no junk in there whatsoever. But also they do it with a cold process. So the enzymes are active. It's a natural diuretic and it's a natural antihistamine. So that's why this one helps so many people with their allergies. It also helps to clear up some mucus and whatnot. So it's a really great thing to take. So the Alfalfa, if you're dealing with allergies, that's the first place that we usually start. If they're really bad, we suggest adding this to it as well. So this is Spheron, and it is a complex of safflower, pumpkin seeds, plant tago seeds, and Japanese honeysuckle. And so it's something to take daily, and it helps your body's immune response. But the neat thing about this is it moderates your immune response. It'll bring it up to where it needs to be, and it's at its most powerful. But if it's working too high, if it's hyper responsive, then it'll help calm it down, or it'll bring it up. So it's not going to push you into an autoimmune. It's not going to overstimulate. It just fuels it, feeds it, and helps support it so it's going to work properly. So that's a really neat product as well. Now, garlic, my husband's allergies are really bad. So we had to bring in the third guns, I guess you would call it. So we had Alfalfa and Spheron, and he needed garlic added to his. Garlic is something really good to keep in your medicine cabinet. It just dries up the mucus really, really well. And it does help a lot for allergies too. So if you need something really powerful to add to your program, garlic is a wise thing to add. Now, something that is very foundational and something that's really smart to add just for supporting your immune system is the Optiflora DI. This has 10 billion CFUs from 4 different bacterial strains, and it really supports your immune system, digestive health, and mood. It's a very powerful little product. You don't have to keep it in the fridge because it's properly stabilized. And it's also guaranteed to be active in the capsule and have active delivery to your to where it needs to take effect in your body. So it's a really good probiotic. I have to say this one made a world of difference for myself as well with all my digestive issues. This was definitely the one that I was able to set aside a whole bunch of digestive enzymes after I started using this. So 70% of your immune system, they say, is in your gut. So treat your gut well, and you'll have a better immune response. So this is a good thing to add to it. Now we're going to shift here for a minute and just talk a little bit about what happens indoors. So people spend, they say, an average of 90% of your time indoors. Now, chemical pollutants have been found to be 2 to 5 times higher inside the home. What does this mean? Now, I didn't think that household cleaners had any impact on my health. I had a lot of respiratory issues. I kept getting bronchitis, and I had a lot of issues with my respiratory system. And so I just completely poo-pooed the idea that my cleaners were impacting me. So I didn't believe this, but I had the headaches and, you know, a lot of these issues. And then I was educated what was under my sink. So chlorine bleach, that's in a lot of the products. Degreasers, they contain petroleum distillates, and that can cause lung damage to your lung tissues. Glass cleaners, they can cause, again, irritation to the respiratory system. Oven cleaners, I mean, they're just nasty. Toilet bowl cleaners, so all of these things can be very harmful when you inhale the fumes. Sodium hydroxide is also something that when you inhale it, it's immediately irritating to your respiratory tract, and that's in a lot of different products. So there's all these different things that are in the products that we're using, that many people use in their homes every day, that can cause a lot of issues to your airways. Now, why does that matter when we're talking about allergies? You want to do everything that you can to support your body's ability to respond properly. You want to have a strong immune system. You don't want to challenge it in your house and then go outside and have it challenged again. So it's very important to make sure that you're living in a home that your body is able to be calm and breathe properly, and you're not constantly challenging your airways. So the Get Clean product is something that we use, and we just highly recommend it. It is always safe, always green, it always works. There's no VOCs in it. There's no nitrates, phosphates, chlorine, bleach. I mean, I was told once that if you can't spread your cleaners on toast and eat them, then you shouldn't use them. So I wouldn't really recommend that. I don't think it would taste great, but I wouldn't be scared to do it either. So you've maybe seen us do this once in a while, where we take our glass cleaner and we sprayed it in our mouth just to show, you know, it's perfectly harmless. So this is really a safe line to use. The Basic H is something that is so cost effective. So one bottle of our Basic H makes over 181 liters of all-purpose cleaner. You can make all-purpose cleaner, you can make window cleaner, you can make degreaser. The window cleaner costs less than a penny per bottle. So it's, again, very cost effective and very versatile. It's great for cleaning your floors, your pets, your car, so many different uses. The Fresh Laundry, now I bring that one up is because if you have on your clothes, you'll have a residue of your laundry products will usually stay in your clothes. Now, whatever is on your skin is going to get into your system. They say within 90 seconds, it'll be in your system. And if you have that coursing through your body, if you have all these different chemicals coursing through your system, that also is going to impact how your body can respond properly. And it's going to have negative impacts on your overall health. So what Shaklee has is they have their Fresh Laundry Concentrate, and it is great. I used to use cloth diapers, and this works fabulous even for that. It works 26% better than Method, 240% better than Whole Foods, and it actually works better than OxyClean as a stain remover. So it's hypoallergenic and it's non-chlorinated. It's very good to use. So just as a quick overview, who is this company that we're talking about? You just mentioned Shaklee a few times. And you'll see there, there's a picture there of Dr. Shaklee, and he's a chiropractor and a naturopath. He was practicing, but he noticed that with his clients that they were not getting all the nutrients that they needed. And he wanted to find a way to get the essence of the plants into people's bodies or into their systems without having them have to increase their caloric intake. So he created the first multiple vitamin in North America for that reason, just to help people support their bodies better. In 1960, he created the first green cleaner before green was even a thing, but he knew we had to be better stewards of the earth. He made the first plant-based protein because he knew that people were not getting enough complete proteins that they could easily digest in their systems. He also made the first phosphate-free laundry detergent, and that was back in 1972. So this is a company of first, not a company that follows the fads. It's a science-driven company that always does the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. So I just really feel like it's a company that we can really trust. They have a long history of doing the right thing. So you heard Amanda talk about stripping and shaking every morning, and this is what she's referring to. So the shake is something I'll chat about in a little bit. But every morning, we just really say, start with your building blocks, build your house from the ground up. So this is a great starter kit because it kind of gives you all of the basics that you need. It gives you your complete proteins. It gives you, helps you fill your nutrient gap. And you also get a free optional mini cleanse with it. And so it's a really good place to start. So this is that protein. So this protein is one of my favorite things to talk about. I won't go into too much detail here because I could talk for an hour on this slide alone. But this protein will give you 20 grams of easy to digest protein. It's gluten-free, there's fiber, it's non-GMO, and that's the important thing to know. That they have a plant, which is a non-soy option, and also a soy option. I really like the soy option because it has the active isoflavones. So this is one of those beyond the label differences that we need to know about. This is something you won't know just by looking at the label. Your taste buds won't know this, but your cells will know this difference. Your cells will know if your soy protein has been alcohol washed or water washed. So if the protein has been alcohol washed, the beneficial isoflavones are going to be denatured. Plus, there will be a cross-contamination. So you want those isoflavones in the soy, and Shaklee found a way to keep them active by using a water wash process. It's a more expensive process to use. And we actually might not even know the difference by tasting it, but your cells know the difference, and Shaklee knows the difference, and they know that you need those isoflavones. So those isoflavones are called gensine and daidzein. They help for bone density, hormone balancing, and anti-cancer properties. So Shaklee does it right because it's non-GMO, beyond organic, properly processed. This is a perfect way to start every single day with a lot of great health benefits. The Vitalizer strip is a simple, convenient, easy strip that you can take every morning that helps fill all your nutrient gaps. You can also personalize and use just simple multiple vitamin. There's a lot of different options, but we always suggest that people just, if you can, just start with a strip. It's easy, and it just helps fill all the gaps. Now, starting with the basics is where we'd love for you to start. And if you're dealing with allergies, here are a few of the things that you might want to stick into your medicine cabinet. The alfalfa definitely is a great thing to use. And then if you need extra support, as Amanda mentioned, she used Spheron as well. Now, people like my husband, they need the extra garlic, so you might want to get that into your house. And then the Optiflora DI is a very powerful way to help support digestion, immunity, and also mood. So some other things, again, is remember that hot lemon every morning and a low inflammation diet. So no wheat, no dairy, no refined sugar, no processed foods. Just really keep the body very calm. Now, I did put a little picture there of Vitalize Immunity on the bottom. And that's something that is also really nice to use as a vitamin C drink. And so if you feel like you just need a really good boost for your immune system, that's a really good drink to have on hand as well. So starting with, the inside, and then what can you do for yourself on the outside to keep your house cleaner? We really recommend grabbing that Get Clean Starter Kit and just clean up your home. Go green with Get Clean, and it'll save you a lot of money. And you'll be doing a good thing for the earth as well. So we love to bring you home-based solutions for your health and for your environment and for your income from a beyond organic wellness brand. We really encourage you to just take a look at what we have to offer. You can go online, you can ask for a catalog, just see what we have to offer. We have everything for healthy nutrition, healthy weight, healthy beauty, healthy home. Nothing Shaklee does is stimulatory. It's all very basic, very foundational. It's all about building health from the ground up. So we encourage you to take a look. And if you do decide to swap brands, you can take a look at which products you use. And if you fill your cart every month with 150 of Shaklee products, you can start redeeming up to $100 in free products a month. I have a lot of people who are doing that. So they have a really great loyalty reward program. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, then I encourage you to ask the person that shared this video with you. So we believe that everyone has the right to thrive and to live a life of meaning and energy and purpose. And we are here because we just want to help make healthy happen in your home. And we want to help you take you from being a sneezy, wheezy person into being a healthy, thriving you. And so we appreciate your time, and thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful.